I'm Andy with Ninox Corporation, and welcome back to the real estate training series for the Ninox ERP system by Ninox. Now that we've looked at properties and units, we're going to begin looking at tenants and the lease contracts that effectively connect or associate a tenant with a particular unit and or property. We'll cover deeds and the sale of properties in a separate training class. In this class, we're just going to focus on the first part of leasing and rentals. Now, it's important to understand that one unit could have multiple tenants. One tenant could lease or rent multiple units. In a residential setting, we might have one tenant, say a parent, but multiple residents, maybe the children of that parent. It's also important to recognize that we not only have current leases, but we may at the same time need to track all historical leases, and we might even have future leases. All of these things are possible in the Ninox real estate management system. Now, there are two major components when we talk about leasing. The first one is a definition of the tenant themselves. Tenants come in two flavors or two forms: the individual tenant, which is the most common tenant in a residential or multifamily setting, and the corporate or business tenant, which is what we often have in a commercial, multi-tenant high-rise, retail, or food service or strip mall real estate portfolio. Either way, our individual tenants and our corporate tenants are all set up in our address book. The address book is accessed off the office menu in the individual and business modules. And this is where we can set up basic information like name, contact and employment information, activation and deactivation date, as well as categories, classifications, emails, and phone numbers. Once we have defined the individuals and or the businesses who are our real estate company customers, we then need to define the separate charges, clauses, and fees that would be part of any lease contract, or as we'll see in the future, any deed for the sale of a property. To set up these generic fees and charges and assessments, we go to System Utilities and select Lease Charges. We can have an unlimited number of lease charges, and each lease charge has many different options for how it's calculated and assessed. Let's take a look. We'll start with the most common charge, and that is rent itself. Here we have commercial rent. In this case, this is a monthly fee. It is a charge. It's a fixed fee equal to, in this case, $11.75 based on square footage. It's due on the first day of the month, and it's considered late on the fourth day of the month. By default, these charges, in this case commercial rent, would be debited to a checking account and credited to the revenue account rental payments. Let's compare that to residential rent. Here we have a residential rent definition, and it's still a fixed fee, but in this case, it's not based on square footage, it's just based on a tenant in a space. And in this case, the fixed fee monthly residential rent is defined not here at the charge level, but on a unit by unit basis. There are other types of charges and fees, like, for example, pet charges. Here it's a fixed fee of $50 per pet, but the basis is how many pets. And we can see in this case that this is relevant only to apartment and condo rental leases. We don't allow pets in our rental homes, and pets aren't really relevant to commercial types of property. Compare that to this fee, which is a security deposit. In this case, it's a fixed fee. There is no basis. It's a one-time actual fee. Now, we've looked at all of these fixed fees, which are the most common type of fee or charge in a residential or multifamily real estate setting. In commercial real estate, however, we have a lot of fees, charges, and assessments that are based on a percent of another fee or charge. The most common of those would be the CAM, or the Common Area Maintenance Charge. Here, instead of having it be a fixed fee, it's a percentage of a base. And in this case, the base is the actual commercial rent. Specifically, the Common Area Maintenance Charge is 1.25% of the total commercial rent for a particular property. As commercial rent is often based on square footage, this allows us to gauge or vary the total common area maintenance charged to individual tenants based on their square footage footprint. The ability to track fixed fee and percentage of basis fees allows us to tackle and address almost any kind of leasing arrangement in any sort of real estate portfolio. In our next video, we're going to actually build a lease by picking and choosing the relevant lease charge options. I'll see you in that class.